everyone, welcome to Two Car Pros. My name is Ryan and today I'm going to show you exactly how to change your oil and filter for a 2022 Hyundai Tucson. So this is a really easy thing you can do at home in your driveway, garage, whatever it is. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So once you're underneath the vehicle, you can see these two access panels. They have the little oil lamp on there. There's one here and one here. And they're held in with body clips and two 10mm bolts. The body clips are really easy. You just kind of pop the center out using like a standard screwdriver, or I have this really handy body clip tool. Oops. And then the panel should fall off, exposing the oil filter on this one, and the drain bolt will be on that guy. And you can see the middle is just sort of popped out and that whole thing falls down. I'm missing one of them. I'll have to replace that. And you know what? I'll leave a link down below in the description to a new set of body clips. It's just handy to have if you're working on cars. You get the same treatment for these. There we go. And then the two 10mm bolts. There we go. Remove that panel, exposing where we're going to be working. So the next thing we could do is grab a 17mm socket or a wrench and remove our oil plug drain bolt. A lot of time these are just kind of need to be broken loose, and then you can just back them off with your fingers. Make sure you have your oil catch ready, and maybe some eye protection is a good idea. And then go. Nice. And we're just gonna let that drain on out. So the next thing we're gonna focus on is over here on our oil filter housing. It has an 8mm Allen that we can remove, and it should drain that housing, and it might dribble on you. There we go. You can even hold it like this so it doesn't make a big old mess. There we go. And this part right here on the end of my Allen is actually not reusable, so you can go ahead and toss that. It comes with your new filter. So once I've drained that housing out, I'm actually going to put this back just so it doesn't dribble on me while I'm getting the housing off. So then we can get a 27mm socket. Yes, you heard me right, 27mm, and I will leave a link down below in the description. Make sure it's fully on that housing nut, and then we can start loosening it. Once you broke it loose, typically you can just get it off with a hand, and then that should bring the housing and filter along with it, and we can go ahead and take this over to our workbench. So I'm going to take my oil pan drain bolt here, get rid of the washer. I already kind of cleaned it up, and I'm going to put on my new copper washer. This came with our oil filter, and this one happens to be one from Napa, and I will leave a link down below in the description where you can get one online. Before you leave the store or the Amazon return window maybe closes, go ahead and take it out and make sure it came with this seal and this drain plug and the O-ring for that drain plug, because you need all those items in order to rebuild the canister here. So we can remove our old filter, take that out, set that aside. It is junk, it's no good. And then, so the way this filter housing works is kind of interesting. Might be a little tricky to see, but see that little tang right there? We need to remove that seal by grabbing some pliers, or maybe you could use your fingers, but I couldn't quite get it, and get that seal out of there and set it aside. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my new one, see how it's nice and dry? We really don't want that. What I'm going to do is just kind of wet my glove with some new oil, or you can use old oil, it doesn't really matter that much, and just kind of wet it down so it's nice and slick. It has a nice film of oil on there, and then we can just kind of put it back into that groove. It's an interesting way of doing it. There we go, it's seated nice and in that cup. And then we can take our oil filter and put it on. I don't think it matters which way it goes. If it has like top written on it, make sure the top is facing towards you, but honestly, I don't think it matters until it makes that nice click sound. And there we go, this is ready to go back on the car, as is our drain plug. And then we can replace our oil filter housing with our nice lubed up seal. So back in the olden days, you would just have like a regular canister type, and then you could just like put it on with one hand and you're good. But the torque spec for this is actually written on the housing. It's 25 plus 5 Newton meters. So you tighten it 25 Newton meters and then 5 additionally. Got my torque wrench out, and I can go ahead and tighten that down. Now, if you don't have a torque wrench, which is understandable, maybe just like one arm tight, wrist tight maybe. There we go. And just give it a little bit more for the 5. There it is. Nice. And then, of course, don't forget the drain bolt on that housing. Throw that guy away, and we can get our new one. And of course, on our new one, make sure you have the new O-ring nice and lubricated. Never put an O-ring on dry. And then for the torque spec, I think it's like 5 Newton meters, something like that. 4 plus 1, it says right on the thing. Between you and me, I would just do about that much. Wrist tight. Good to go. So we can come around to our oil pan here, and I'm just going to get some carburetor spray or brake clean. And I'm just going to clean that mating surface. I just want that kind of free from any kind of debris or undesirable ickies on there. There we go, that looks better. And then with my new washer, my new copper washer installed, we can go ahead and replace our drain plug. Tilt all the way down just like that. And then we're going to torque that down to 25 foot-pounds. If you do not have a torque wrench, that's perfectly fine. 1 arm tight is perfectly sufficient. And there you go. Don't think too much on this. It's just holding oil back. And as long as it doesn't leak, it's aces. So we can remove our oil cap and place our funnel. Nice. And the oil we're going to be using today is 0W20 full synthetic, and it takes 6.1 quarts on an oil change. So just go ahead and put that on in. And there we go, 6.1 quarts. And we can remove our funnel and replace our oil cap. So next we're going to start the car and let it run for about maybe 40 seconds or so. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and look underneath the vehicle and make sure it's not just dumping oil all over the ground. And we're just going to wait about a minute or so. So then we can go ahead and grab our dipstick, wipe that off, and then insert it fully into the engine and bring it back out. And we can see that the level is just about at the end of my thumb there. So it is pretty darn perfect, 6.1 quarts right on the nose. And our oil change is good to go. And then we can put our access panels back after we've inspected everything and looked to make sure it's not leaking. Everything's looking aces. We can put our panel back and then grab our clip. And the cool thing about these is they go in super easy, and then you just push them. They just go further into the body of the clip, and then you push on that, and then it sits in its home, and you're good to go. Just like that. And we have the other one for the actual oil pan itself. And remember, use clips for the ones kind of more inboard, and then bolts for the ones more outboard. And then send these 10 millimeters home. Don't really have a torque spec for you, just snug's good. There you go. So now that we're in the driver's seat, we're going to reset our oil light. So what we're going to do is go ahead and push this without our foot on the brake so it comes up with accessory. And push it again. And then we're going to use our pad here to go through our stiv. So I'm going to start off here. We're going to use this button to kind of navigate. Well, it's going to remind us service, that's fine. We're going to use that button to navigate over to this setting. So in this menu, we're going to scroll down to convenience and then scroll down to our service interval. And we are going to reset that time and distance because we just changed it. And there you go, 182 days and 5,000 miles. And then we can go ahead and just push that to kind of turn the ignition back off, and you're ready to drive. So that's how to change your oil and filter for a 2022 Hyundai Tucson with the 2.5 liter in line 4. It is really simple, really straightforward. There's a couple of little things you kind of need to get right, but other than that, this is easy peasy, and you will save thousands of dollars over the lifetime of your vehicle. And you make sure that the oil change is done correctly, which is always super important to keeping your engine running smoothly. If you found this video helpful at all, please consider giving a like or even subscribing. It really helps the channel out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.